to get started working on your project, drawing your contours and shading, you're going to need the following supplies. If possible, you should print out your picture that you completed, your digital sketch that has the grid on it. If you don't have a printer, you can work from your computer or your phone, but it's a little bit easier if you can print it out. The other thing that you're going to need is your grid that you drew out on your 9-inch by 12-inch paper. You're going to need an extra piece of copy paper if you were able to print out your picture so that you can use it to block off parts of your picture that you're not drawing. And then you're going to need your 3 drawing pencils, your 2H pencil, your HB pencil, and your 6B pencil. You need the blending stump or tortillon, it's called both, and then also your eraser. So what you want to do when you are getting started is you want to work just one box at a time, okay? Please do not go in and draw out the entire picture and then try to shade in the picture all at once. Instead, you're going to work one box at a time. Up here where we wrote our letters and our numbers, we want to make sure that we are labeling our picture with the same letters and numbers. Okay, the only difference is that on my paper I don't have this border, so I'm going to actually have to draw and shade over top of my letters and my numbers as I go. So on here I'm going to label my numbers. And you want to make sure that if your your picture is going portrait style, that your paper is going portrait style. You want to make sure that if your letters are across the top in your picture, that your letters are across the top in your drawing paper as well, so that everything matches up. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to start one box at a time. And as you can see in this picture, my A1 box is just light shading. So I don't actually have to draw any contours. Because I'm working in that A1 box, I may want to just erase my A1 label before I shade so that I don't have to worry about that showing through. Also, if you drew your grid lines light enough, they should just go ahead and they should just disappear. If you drew your grid lines a little heavy-handed, then you might want to lighten those up or erase those a little bit too. So I can see here that my box A is just a light value. So I'm going in, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. I am just going in with my 2H pencil right now because I want to keep this pretty light. And I'm using a circular motion as I shade so that I'm not getting start and stop marks. I also notice that I'm going a little bit past my lines. I'm not stopping my shading right at the edge of that line because I don't want to create a patchwork effect. And my lines are a little bit dark. I had drawn them a little bit dark because I wanted you to be able to see them in my demo. So I'm actually going to come in here and I'm going to lighten up my lines a little bit. And I'm just going to shade very lightly with my 2H a little bit past my lines so that when I use my tortillon or my blending stump, I'm not going to end up with a patchwork effect. Okay, and I can see that my shading is going to come into that B box as well. So I'm just going to continue my shading all the way into my B box. Again, I might want to go ahead and just erase that letter before I shade in the box. Because I can see that this light value goes across several boxes, I may shade in 2 or 3 boxes before I come back with my blending stump and try to blend that out with my graded tone. So I'm using my blending stump. I'm going to use a circular motion. Again, I'm also going over top of that grid line a little bit so that, again, I don't end up with a real boxy look. I don't want to see those boxes. I don't want it to look like I'm just shading in one box at a time and then blending it out. So I'm using a circular motion and I'm going past the lines a little bit. So that's how you're going to get started. We're working one box at a time. By the time I get over here to box D, I can see that now I'm starting to get my flag. So I am just very lightly sketching in the contours of the flag. And then I will probably go in and erase the letter before I shade, and very lightly shade in my background first, the larger area, and then I'll come back in with my other pencils and start to block out some of those darker values. And that's pretty much how you're going to get started. You're just going to take it one box at a time, always shading it in, going past the boxes a little bit. Use a circular direction while you're shading in big areas, and then come in with your tortilla also in a circular direction, going again a little bit past the boxes. As you continue, you're just taking it one box at a time. We are not drawing out the entire picture and then shading in the entire picture.